One. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Table Talk with Nguyen. And today, my guest will be the one and only Tien, Sony Nguyen, my friend, longtime friend actually, and more importantly, my cousin. So, hello, Sonny.
Yo, what's good?
So, I kind of want to start off this podcast with describe, tell a little bit about yourself, like a little bit of background information.
Okay. Well, I'm 17 years old. I'm Vietnamese. I was born in New York. Uh,
No, you weren't, bro.
Kinda.
You weren't.
Yes, I was.
No, you
Dude,
weren't.
dude, yes, I
Bro.
was. Okay. My dad was in the mafia with his dad. But that's for later, right?
That's for later, yeah.
That's
So,
for later.
more so like, where do you live? Where do you live right now?
I live currently. I'm near Atlanta, the most ghetto city in America.
And you're going into senior year of high school.
Yeah, I'm going to senior year. You know,
How's that?
trying.
Nerve wracking? Any? Or you feel more like prepared for it?
Fuck no. I already got accepted into UGA.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So you're like guaranteed going there and like,
I'm guaranteed on a full ride.
so everything's kind of just set for you and you just gotta finish senior year and you're going right into college.
Right now, yeah, I'm just still figuring out my major.
Do you plan on taking like as many classes as possible in college and trying to finishing as soon as possible, or kind of like relaxing a little bit and slowly moving into it?
I'm just relaxing. 4 years, try to live out college. Because after that, we're just going to be working for corporate jobs.
Are you taking a leap year or just going like straight into it after senior year?
No, I'm going straight into it.
What do you think of leap years and people who take those?
Uh, I mean, I have a pretty close friend that took a leap year. Uh, his name is Nguyen. He took a leap year to play League of Legends. So, that kind of traumatized me. You know, like, look how he turned out. He almost had a heart attack, right? So I'm like, nah, I need something to keep me busy, occupied.
Hmm.
So I'm just not take a leap year and go straight to school.
And I know you have like other interests besides school, right? Like being an entrepreneur and going into like more business side of things, right?
Yeah, I'm, I'm, my top choice is business major right now.
Hmm. But you don't want to like explore into that option outside of schooling because from like a lot of people, they say like going to college for business is like really useless. Only thing it does is like networks and all that. What are your kind of take on that?
Uh, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of successful entrepreneurs that they either didn't go to college or didn't finish college. But, it's nice to have a background on it before entering that because
Hmm.
the business world is 50-50. Ac- It might be a little less than 50-50. Not a lot of people make it out.
Hmm. And what sphere
Because
of business are you really leaning towards?
right now, I'm thinking of real estate. I want to get into real estate
Hmm. Like what
because
part of it? Like flipping houses, like showing people houses, or just like managing a company about real estate?
just like the overall paperwork, a little bit of law, maybe. I'm thinking about that.
Hmm. And what
And
kind of like draws you into that?
uh, I just like I don't know. That's hard to explain.
What
I've
like makes
always
you like when
wanted
you
to
see
do.
that? Like besides the money, right? Like besides the
Yeah.
damn, I'm about to be stacking
I
cash.
mean, I'm gonna be hell stacked, but flipping houses isn't always reliable because you need to start off with a lot of money. You need upfront money, like a lot for that.
Hmm.
With just managing paperwork, you can start off as a company and just work your way up into the chain.
Hmm.
So it's more reliable, I feel like.
Do you feel like the job is maybe more exciting rather than working at like a regular 9 to 5 that you have to clock in, clock out, things like that?
Yeah, for sure. There are a lot of realtors that work from home. It's
Hmm.
more relaxing, more less stress. I don't I don't see myself working a 9 to 5, honestly.
Hmm. Speaking of 9 to 5, let's talk about how you're doing in school. Has school ever been a struggle for you, or has it always been a like hill that you have to climb over, or is it just I'm just pushing through and I'm completing everything? kind of thing?
No, dude. I've never struggled in school in any of my classes. I um I got a 1460 on my SAT,
Hmm.
and I probably studied a total of like 2 hours max over the span of
Do
three
you guys take
months.
the SAT? Do your colleges there take the SAT over ACT?
Yeah, in Georgia it's weird. Like UGA, you don't need to take the ACT. It's like that
Oh,
in
but
almost
SAT is
every
required.
college. Huh?
SAT is required.
SAT is required.
Mm. It's like it's completely opposite here, but I heard it's like different, like literally every single state.
Yeah, it's different for most states. Yeah.
But with school, you've kind of just like pushed through and like literally no struggle, all A's, perfect grades, perfect attendance, the honor child.
I mean, everything but the attendance. I missed like a full month of school my
A full
junior
month.
year. Yeah,
Tell me more about that.
unexcused. You know, I'm sick out a lot. Sick,
Sick,
just trying to.
just taking school a little. I mean, it's like I also had like maybe like a month worth of absences just because like I had a lot of classes where I could skip multiple days and
Yeah.
I still get an A in the class. Is it more something
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah, but except I'm out the whole day, and I think I've checked in after my second period like at least 20 times last year. But
Mm-hmm. That's just life.
my parents, my parents don't care because I always end up with high A's anyways. So
So are your
like, yeah.
parents less pressuring about you with schoolwork and stuff? Are they really involved in that sort of area?
Uh, no, not really. I mean, they trust me enough to maintain my grades. Um, because I've proven myself over the years. I was a pretty dumb child. I
Mm-hmm.
think third grade, my highest grade I ever gotten in all of my classes was a 78, and that was in math.
Mm-hmm.
And just elementary school, I don't think I ever got an A on anything.
Was it the same thing in middle school?
Middle school, I started off rough. I had a few C's, but then just something clicked in seventh grade. I don't know what, but I've been well off ever since.
And from like seventh grade on, just all A's.
Just I worked up, seventh grade A's and B's, eighth grade A's, one B, and now in high school I have like all A's, 4.0.
Mm-hmm. Are you on track to be valedictorian?
No, there are some crazy kids at Mill Creek.
What's
There
your
are
class rank? What's your
4,000.
class rank?
My class rank, it's in the top 100.
Damn,
But
bro. Dallas is higher than you. He's top 50.
no, he's not.
That's.
No, he's never taken an AP class before. How is he top
I
50?
know.
This guy's just lying for content.
But with school, right? So, like, was your parents really involved and worried about you in at the elementary and middle school part?
Uh, you know, they always knew I was a stupid child in elementary, so they didn't care that much in elementary. Middle school, I think it clicked because my parents started pressuring me about grades. Like, middle school is just no one cares about middle school. It's just setting you up for high school. You gotta develop
Hmm.
good habits. So I'm like, that's a good idea. So that's what I've been doing ever since.
That's kind of like because there's a stereotype about Asian parents and grades, and they have to have all A's, right? But for your family, they weren't really that strict on you. Like, they didn't like sit you down and like give you like the fierce talk and all that.
Never talk. They just always somehow magically at the end of every semester they manage to remember to remind me, oh, keep all A's. And I'm like, okay, that's what I've been doing.
Hmm.
So it's nothing new, but that's as much as it gets, really.
But they weren't really that deep into it, right?
Mm-mm.
And also, along with the topic of school, how's like your school balance with like going home, doing homework, going out, things like that? How do you would you say you have like a relatively healthy balance of studying, putting effort into school like nowadays in like current times with your high school?
Um, I don't study ever. I don't know why my brain works like that, but I've been blessed. I don't ever study in any of my classes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I used to be fat as shit, because I couldn't keep a schedule. Like I was really like off task. So now my schedule is after school, go gym, walk outside. Then I have like 2 hours before I go to sleep to do whatever I want.
So you
I have
maintain like a daily walk every single day?
yeah. It's kind of like my cardio, but I do cardio after after my
Yeah.
weight training. But I like to go outside and walk because I've been getting into photography
hmm
and neighborhoods around the area I live, the suburbs, beautiful. There's like parks in every neighborhood. So that's why I like walking outside.
Are you really consistent with that routine slash schedule?
Uh yeah, during the school year, right now I'm working though. So I haven't even seen Georgia in like a week.
hmm Were you consistent just like starting off right off the bat, or like kind of on and
Absolutely,
off?
absolutely not. It was only this year, 2023, was when I started major weight loss, you
hmm
know, and my schedule was very consistent.
What do you think like made you more consistent?
Um,
Like, did you really try for it, or did it just kind of like click randomly? Like, what was the game changer?
oh yeah, I really tried for it. I first consistent thing about, changing bettering my life, it was my diet, but I was almost too consistent with like the worst diet possible because I was really hella strict with my diet, like 4 eggs a day, breakfast, skip lunch, um, eat a small meal, then breakfast or dinner was like a huge protein shake. And I did that for a month and I didn't even see progress like
Is
at
that what you
all.
started off with?
Yeah, that's what I started off with, very,
And you were
very
able to
begin.
just like to keep that like the
Yeah,
whole month?
my goal was to keep that, right? But no, I burnt out. So,
hmm
but uh a major reason why I kept consistent was cuz I went to the gym with my friends and I would find like some close buddies of mine that wants like has the same schedule as me, and we would just go together.
hmm
Like you have to find yourself like a group, like buddies almost. Yeah,
And someone to keep you accountable, right?
yeah.
How is that? Would you say like that's like the major reason why you lost so much weight and why you've
Oh yeah, major
consistent
reason.
schedule?
You need a Yeah, major reason. That's a huge reason. Like number one, um, you gotta find people that'll keep you accountable of your actions for your actions. Like, oh, dude, you skipped a day. You can't be doing that. Or, dude, you're a fat fuck. Stop eating. I'm like, okay, yeah. I mean, at least these guys are honest, right?
hmm
So they kind of like wired my brain. We wired each other's brains because you know one of us was trying to gain weight, gain muscle. I was trying to lose weight. The other one was trying to get buff and ripped.
hmm
So we all had to figure out each other, but when we figured out each other, it was
It just clicked.
consistent. Yeah.
Speaking of keeping your friends keeping you accountable, how's been like your friendship circle and things like during high school? Like how has it changed from like freshman year to now, and like how are you? Are you more extroverted? Are you introverted? Things like that.
Oh, dude. COVID hit during the end of my eighth grade. Uh, you know, we both lived through it.
hmm
Eighth grade, COVID. Freshman year, well, summer of freshman year, right? I ain't talked to no one. Just COVID, I cut off a lot of people,
hmm
like a lot. Then during freshman, I found a group of people that I'm still friends with. They're really close, and I would say they're my closest group of friends. Yeah, but I'm not very extroverted, but I'm not like the most introverted. Like I don't have social anxiety. I can talk to people, right?
hmm
But I don't choose to talk to people that often. But I do have like a group of friends. Yeah.
Do you like keeping your circle like really big, really small, and how has like your perception of like keeping the friends around you like changed from like when you were younger to now? Like, are you more private? Are you more open? Are you more expressive about your feelings and how you feel about the people around you and things like that? And have you more locked in on like, yo, I really want to be friends with, I keep being friends with this guy, but like, fuck the other guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When I was younger, I would just try to appeal to people because I didn't have that many friends. It was hard for me finding friends. Um, but when I started having a lot of friends, I just kind of felt lonely because I was never really close to any of them. That's the whole reason why I cut off like 90% of the people I knew during COVID because like they never texted me, so why would I text them?
Mm-hmm.
I cut off a lot of people. Now, I'm in a better spot, mentally and just socially wise. Um, I have I have a group of people that I talk to about my how I feel. Very close. I have some very close friends too. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So are you more expressive about like your thoughts and feelings towards your close friends, or like I phrased that like so dumb. Okay, are you more? I'm actually like getting brain damage right now. In one. Okay, fuck the topic. Fuck the topic. Okay,
okay,
back on track. We're back on track. Okay,
okay.
so we just talked about friends and all that. Now, right? I kind of want to lean into it's like you just like briefly talked about mental health and things like that.
Yeah,
So how was we talked about COVID, right? After COVID, how did it change during COVID? Were you like extremely depressed during those times?
dude. Yeah, I was actually, because I didn't talk to anyone during COVID. I was super lonely. You know, desperate to find friends, find someone to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
It was a coincidence on how I found my friends, because my current friends, because I knew them before, but I never really talked to them like outside of school.
Mm-hmm.
This is randomly one day on Instagram, I get put into a group call with. I would say he's a pretty close school friend, but I just never really talked to him outside of school. There was another girl in there, so that's how everything kicked off, and that's how I managed to find most of the people in my circle now.
Mm-hmm. So how
But
did you kind of actually leaning into more just in a like more general sense? How do you deal with this stress and all that thing?
um, find distractions. Very good distraction is the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Benefits you. I see the gym as something like a safe space almost, because obviously you're bettering your physical health, but you're bettering your mental health too, in my opinion. Because when I'm lifting weights, I don't really think about anything other than just trying to lift the weight. So it's a very good distraction for like however long you're in there. I'm in there for 2 hours, so it's a
Mm-hmm. So
distraction.
you kind of just
But
to release all your stress during that time.
yeah, hobbies like gaming.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really think about your mental health during gaming. You don't, right?
No,
You don't really.
I
Yeah,
zone out. I play the game, and that's all I think
yeah,
about. So
yeah. See, hobbies, distractions, friends. You gotta keep yourself a. You can't live without social contact with anyone.
mm-hmm.
It's a big part of your life.
Speaking about gaming, tell me how you like first got into that. Did your parents play? Did you just like randomly pick it up? Did your dad buy you like your first PC console, things like that?
Um, my grandma, she owned a gaming cafe, but this was like in the '90s, so it was a bunch of like the retro stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tekken, Street Fighter, Pac Man, those retro arcade games.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my dad was really big into. I can't remember which one. It might have been both, but it was either Tekken or Street Fighter. He's really been into those kind
Was
of
it
games.
called Tekken and Street Fighter in Vietnam, or is it like different name?
Yeah,
It
yeah, it
was
was. Yeah, 1990s.
1990s.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was also into StarCraft. StarCraft. You
Or
know,
did you like wait on like a retro thing? It wasn't like
yeah,
on a computer.
retro like a computer. Yeah,
Oh,
so many games stemmed off of Star Trek. But yeah, my dad when he immigrated here, we had like this busted ass fucking Wii,
mm-hmm.
and I always play Wii on my living room TV, and my parents bought me an iPad just to keep me occupied because they weren't, you know,
Home a
they
lot,
were
always working.
working. Yeah, they were working hard. So I didn't get to see them that often most of the time. So I would always be playing games, and that's where it started off at
Mm-hmm.
games. Then I moved on
Speaking
to consoles, then a PC.
speaking of living room, TV, games.
Yeah,
When you guys first came to America, you guys went straight to New York, right?
yeah, yeah.
Like the classic route that we always learn about in history, like the fair, like the boat and like going to see
Both. Yeah.
the what was it called again? The like the going past the Statue of Liberty, like checking in,
Mhm.
like the classic
Mhm.
immigrant experience.
The fucking island.
Yeah, Ellis Island,
Yeah.
and then you guys just stayed at New York. Was it? Do
Yeah,
you
we
know if?
stayed at
Hmm?
Yeah, we stayed at New York. I stayed there for I wouldn't say half my life, but at least a third of my life.
A good part of it.
Yeah.
So, did you guys? Was it hard finding work in New York as like an immigrant, especially an Asian immigrant who, I'm sure your parents didn't know that much English, right?
Yeah. Um, I never really knew in New York what they did because they would never tell me. Because I was a little ass kid, right? So
Hmm.
why would you tell your kid, you know, what conversation would you have with a kid about your job?
Did you ever
So I
see
really,
times of struggle for them in New York with like financial situation or like just like lifestyle, being like in a
oh,
completely new country?
oh yeah. Um, First place we ever moved into, it was a basement of some old white dude's house. Then we moved to Long Island in one of my uncle's house, but then we went to Albany. It was the top floor of someone else's house. Then we moved to Georgia and we stayed at my aunt's house. Then we stayed at an apartment. So we didn't have a like stable living space until about 5 years ago.
Hmm. So you guys have been like you've been moving around like for like back
Hmm.
and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, I've been moving a lot.
And,
I had to change schools a lot.
hmm and you had your parents have family here, or you have family here that were already in America?
Um, yes. Uh, we were the last to emigrate here. Like on my on my side of the family. Dallas's mom was already here. You know
Hmm.
that Kansas, and my aunt, Dallas's aunt, my dad's sister, she was in Georgia, so that's the main reason why we moved to Georgia.
But
Because
your
New
uncle
York,
was in New York.
huh?
Your uncle was in New York though.
Yeah, my uncle was in New York, but it was just not a great place to live
Hmm.
at all.
And he's still in New
Um,
York, right? And he's like kind of killing it there.
he is. He has a big business, but you know, my dad's the main businessman in the family now, so that's pretty cool. But
Yeah. How long? Like, how late were you guys? Like, how long did you have family like just staying in America before you guys came over?
uh, I think Dallas's mom was a couple years ahead of us, like at least five, I think.
5.
At
Wow.
least five, because they were in Kansas way before us, or like New York or America. I
Hmm.
mean, way
What about your
before us.
uncle?
My uncle,
Because you said you
I'm
lived in like his like you shared a house with him, right?
yeah.
Does that mean he was
Actually,
like pretty successful beforehand, and he like was at New York way before?
yeah. Thing is, my family doesn't really talk about my uncle a lot, like at all. I don't know why.
Maybe because it's kind of isolated, so far away.
Yeah, he's isolated himself. He's the only one in New York.
I mean, he's living it up though. New York,
Yeah,
American dream.
yeah. Cost of living there is way too high. It's way too cold.
Yeah,
Just
it's
sucky
crazy.
to live.
Do you have any like fond memories of living in New York?
Um, in the winter there would always be a foot of snow. So my dad, we live right next to a park, and we just walk there, and I would just play in the snow for like 3 hours.
3 hours.
Yeah.
Did you have any like subway experiences or like the classic?
Oh my God. Yeah, we would go to the not New York City.
Oh, actually, more so. Did you guys ever own a car while in New York?
We did actually at like very just about when we were about to move to Georgia, we had a car.
Mm-hmm. So, so for most of your like early life, right? Your parents took the subway and all that.
My dad had a bike.
Oh, so he biked like to work every day.
He biked to work. Yeah, my mom didn't work. She was a stay-at-home mom.
Hmm. But like subway wasn't like your main form of transportation.
Because we always lived in like not the suburbs, but like places where there were neighborhoods instead of
Mm-hmm.
the city.
And in New York, everything's just kind of like walking area, right? Like most people don't own vehicles.
Yeah, that's only the city though. The
Oh, you didn't live in the city.
No, we didn't live in the city.
So, when did you leave New York? Like, at what exact age?
Leave?
Mm-hmm.
Let me think. I think I was 9, 8 or 9,
9?
8 or 9.
Well, I thought you were young, young.
No,
That's
no.
a big ass portion of your. That's half your life, bro. What do you mean 1/3? 1/3 of your life, bro? 8 or 9? Wait, am I
Yeah.
dumb? Wait, no, that is half your life, no?
Yeah. Wait, 8. Whoops.
That's half your life, no?
Oh yeah.
Bro, you're so 1/3. Wait, that's a long ass time. 8
Don't
years.
move to New York. That place sucks. Don't go there.
8 years in New York, you were.
Yeah.
You didn't pick up any accents though. You didn't pick up the New York accent.
No, I was like a dumb Asian kid that barely knew English.
You at 8? You didn't speak English at 8, bro?
Bro, I was in. Yeah, you ever been in ESOL? ESOL?
No.
Dude, that they would put every person of color in that class.
Really?
They weren't white, but they put me in that class because I barely knew English. Because my parents didn't know English, so
Mhm.
I never had any connections to like.
Did you face any
You
racial segregation while in New York that you remember?
Nah, I was a little ass kid. What? Who would ever pick on like an 8-year-old Asian boy? Like,
What about your parents? Have you did they tell you any stories about that? Or
they kind of shunned away from like telling me all that horrible experience. Maybe when I'm older they'll tell me, but as of right now, I don't know anything, any stories from New York.
so let's follow the timeline. So 8 years old, you move out of New York, you go to Georgia. What's going through your mind?
Like, what a lame state.
What a late state.
I was like, what a lame state. What is Georgia? Like, I didn't know what Georgia was. I only knew New York, California, Texas, all that stuff. I was like, dude, moving to a random southern state.
Mm-hmm. You guys drove there?
Huh?
You guys drove there, right?
Yeah, we drove there. It was like, I think it was 24 hours actually, 22.
Do you remember the ride?
Hmm?
Do you remember the ride?
I do.
Really?
I do.
You said
Yes,
that so
I do.
clearly. What happened? Give me the juice.
We got pulled over once.
You got pulled over?
Yeah, because we were going too slow on the highway.
For going too slow?
Yeah, we're going like 35 on a.
So wait, so you're driving to New York or to Georgia from New York, and you're in your car with your family, right? And you're going 35 on the highway to Georgia. Of course, you get there in 3 days, bro.
Yeah. And the worst part, I was like a little ass kid, and they were telling like ghost stories in the back. I was like,
Really?
so I couldn't like sleep, you know?
Were you fluent? Were you fluent in Vietnamese back then?
Yeah, I was.
And that was your like primary language.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Damn, I'm jealous. And you're still
Nah,
fluent. You're like extremely fluent now. You have like the accent and everything, or
yeah. I mean, have you seen Dao speak Vietnamese? It's like most butchered thing I ever like.
maybe
I
Dallas are
wonder.
the same level. But you have like the accent and you're like fully fluent. Give me two
Like
sentences, bro. Give me two sentences.
what?
Tell
Sentences?
me about a ghost story in Vietnamese.
A ghost story? Oh, dude, I don't know.
I'm putting you.
I don't even. I
Tell me
don't
a
even know
quick
how to.
story in Vietnamese, bro.
Hmm.
Actually, tell me about like moving in.
Moving in.
Yeah, like going to that new place and like moving the boxes and things like that. How was
Uh,
like how different was your house living area from New York to Georgia?
oh, quality of life just increased.
It's like just like that. Like double the house size, double the cash income, double less
Yeah,
taxes, everything.
yeah. Because we weren't living in the suburbs, but then we moved into the suburbs, so it was just quality of life, just pr- cost of living just went down tremendously. Uh, then yeah, that's about it. That's all I can remember from when I lived in my aunt's house. Because going from New York to Georgia, we stayed in our aunt's house
Hmm.
or my aunt.
And then when how long did it like did you guys stay there until you guys moved out?
I think it was 8 months to a year.
And then you guys moved out to completely different house? Far
Oh
like
yeah, we moved into an apartment.
oh, how's that? How different is apartment life from living in a house?
I hated apartment. It was ghetto apartment too. It was like, bro, I was in the hood. I
So
was
the,
stuck in the
how are your
hood.
neighbors?
Huh?
Your neighbors?
Oh, I mean, I never had a problem with my neighbors. I have a funny story actually. I remember, um, we were driving around the neighborhood because we were trying to, go to my house. So
Mm-hmm.
we drove past a pile of Nerf guns. You know, some kids probably like had a water break and went back into their house. Me and my dad just steals all of them.
Yeah,
So
the stack.
yes, and I just like ended up having a bunch of Nerf guns. So I thought that was cool. I was like probably like 9 or 10 at that point.
Did you question it? Anything about like just taking it? Did you question it, or like did you even think about it? You're just like, damn, I got Nerf guns now.
Absolutely not, bro. I was 10 years old with like hella Nerf guns. I think I bagged at least 6 that day.
Six? You just like there's more in the pile. You guys just took a little bit from the pile.
Yeah, I took at least 6 because there were the Nerf like styrofoam axes.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't take that because they had like bite marks and like
Bro,
chunks
bite
out of.
marks.
Yeah, that's one story. They never found out. Uh,
Yeah,
so yeah,
just
stole
like
my.
your dad, like did your dad just decided to like stop and just take them and leave?
Yeah. He was like, "Oh, pile of toys on the ground. He'll like this." And I was in the back seat. I helped him take them into the car. I stole from my neighbors. Yeah,
Oh, it was like in the vicinity of your apartment.
yeah, it was.
Oh, oh,
It was in the complex. It was in the complex.
in the complex?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Do you have any other stories about apartment life?
Um, I had this one kid in my building. He was pretty cool. His name was Josiah. Josiah, yeah. I went to his house, and this was when the first Lego movie came out, and
Mm-hmm.
we um we watched Lego movie, and his mom came home, and she cooked us dinner, right? Then Josiah, we paused it because she made dinner and we had to eat. We paused it halfway through the movie. He was passed out by like almost the end of the movie, so I just like took a bunch of his toys and I just went home.
What? Like, did you get them back?
No, he never
Bro,
found out because
what?
he was spoiled as hell. No,
You
he was
never
spoiled.
found
As hell.
out?
He had like 3 baskets full of toys. I remember this one specific toy I took. I took like those army GI Joe men, but
Yeah.
like you can't move them. They're like the plastic green things,
The
the little
figurines.
platform on the bottom. Yeah, it was like an enlarged version of that. I thought that thing was so cool, so I just stole that. I just stole that from him.
Did you go back to his house ever?
Yeah, I did actually. We
Bro,
were like,
you just casually acted like nothing happens.
I mean, he never found out, so we were chilling.
That's crazy. He dressed out. Just take some toys. Go back home.
Yeah, he never found out, so we good.
So when do you guys move out of the apartment?
Um, it was 2015. 2015, actually owned our own house, so we made it out the hood.
Wait, when did you move out though? Or like,
20 like 2015.
wait, so you moved out and like you owned the house?
Yeah, we just
Like
bought a house.
you bought the house all straight up?
No, not Australia. We mortgage, but it
Oh,
was
okay.
under.
I'm about to say.
Like we didn't rent it from someone.
Mhm.
You know, um, it was under our name. We only lived in an apartment for like 1.5 years, so
Mhm.
glad we got out of that.
How? So, but that wasn't your like that's not the house that you live in right now, right?
Mm-mm.
So how long did you guys stay in that house after the apartment?
We stayed there for 2.5 years, dude. I have so many memories of that house, dude.
You going to
Um,
middle school or elementary school while living in that house too?
this was elementary. This was like 4th grade till 5th grade.
Mhm.
No, 4th grade till 6th grade. Like beginning of 6th grade.
Damn. So
Uh,
tell me some stories about the house. Tell me some memories.
dude. First, I met this kid on my bus stop. He was pretty cool. We played 2K at his house all the time.
Mhm.
And I remember I was going back to his house, or going back from his house to my house, and I was just like booking it through other people's backyards because they didn't have fences, so I was booking it to my backyard. And some other kids saw me, so they started chasing me. Right? I was terrified. I was like a little ass kid. I was terrified, but they said, "Oh, why are you running for?" So I even booked it faster. Like I booked it even
You went
faster.
all the way back home?
Yes. Then they started knocking on my door. You know, I peeped the door open a little. They were like, "You want to play basketball?" I was like, "Shit. Why do you have to do all that though?"
What? I gotta chase me down.
Yeah. This was like first 3 months of me living there.
Mhm.
Um, I remember his name. The kid I played 2K with. His name was Nolan. His sister was fine as fuck.
Bro, chill. Bro.
I'm just saying.
No, that's the whitest name I've ever heard.
Nolan?
Yeah. Was he
Yeah. No, he was black.
Oh, my bad. Yo, I'm gonna get canceled. It's over for me. My career's over.
Yeah, then I met a group of, like, very close friends. Every single day we would play basketball or do something together.
Mhm.
It was a group of me and 4 people. So it was me, a Hispanic name. His name was Jafet. Another
Okay.
Hispanic. His
Jafet?
name was huh?
Jafet? I've never heard that name in my life, bro.
Yeah, Jafet. Um, Another Hispanic. His name was Gabriel. Then an Asian. His name was Jr. But his real name was Steven.
Bro, that's crazy. JR, but his real name is Steven.
Then his fine as fuck sister. She was a grade ahead of us, but she was fine as fuck.
Oh.
Her name was Mackenzie. Yeah. For the next around 2 years, that's all we would do. Just play basketball, hang out, go to each other's houses. Dude, that was prime, bro. I remember that.
when you
I miss,
moved?
huh?
When you moved away from them?
I moved away from them, bro. I was heartbroken because I was talking to this fine girl in
Bro,
my
chill,
class.
chill. Moving on, okay, moving on. So you moved out of that house, and then the next house, that's your final house?
That's my final house, yeah.
That's like.
Um,
So what
this
changed in between those times? Like, your parents opened up. Your parents work at the nail salon, right?
yeah, they're still working at the nail salon at this time point. Um, Brand new neighborhood, no fucking kids. So I didn't get to meet anyone.
But your new
Like
house was like, it's like, was like
it was,
bigger, right?
like almost 5 times bigger, I think.
It was like the house that like you walk in and you think to yourself, damn, I made it.
Yeah, it was like MTV Cribs almost.
So
Uh,
how did you like kind of react to that? Like,
dude, I was still heartbroken over my friends and that fine girl I was still talking to. I didn't have a phone number,
but once you saw
so
the house, you kind of just like,
I was like, this is better than my old neighborhood for sure. Because my old neighborhood was filled with crime.
mm-hmm.
Oh,
Dude, I can't imagine any crime in the neighborhood like you live in right now.
absolutely not. No, I live in a community called Hamilton Mill. It's literally like the richest suburbs in North Georgia, like near Atlanta. So, you know,
Wait, I forgot. Is it gated? Do you guys have a gate?
gate? No, I
Okay,
don't live in
I'm about, that's a
a.
different level.
I mean, the houses in my neighborhood look like it should be a gated community.
Yeah,
You know,
I
they just
know. It's like going down the hill and then going into like the intersections. There's just like house. The houses are insane.
yeah, dude. I'm just saying, like they just throw gates on random neighborhoods in Hamilton. Mill. That's the thing. It's not a normal suburbs. Like gates define your like wealth, right? But in Hamilton Mill, they just throw gates on like the newest neighborhoods. Like not trying to shame anyone, but like some community houses, like gated community houses, they're small as fuck. They're not as big as my house. Why do they get a gate? You know, no shame in that.
Bro, you can't say no shame in that after you said that.
But their houses are small as fuck. Why do their lives matter more than mine? No
Bro,
shame.
bro. It's actually I don't know how
No
they decide
shame.
that. I think like your homeowners association, like they have to like set that up and you have to pay extra.
Yeah, HOA. Thank God we don't have a gated community. Actually, I take that back. I take back
Wait, are
everything
your
I said.
HOA fees like already high as fuck?
This is high as hell, but
Really?
like,
But like,
yeah,
there's no like ponds or fountain or anything that, like when I was like at your house, right? There's not really like stuff to take care of besides the lawn, right?
yeah. Literally, there's just lawn.
Like, what do they do?
Mm, I mean, the HOA,
Mm-hmm.
they're really controlling. Um, I have
Oh,
a
they're
funny.
like involved. They don't just like maintain the properties.
They don't maintain the properties. They don't do shit except complain to other people that actually maintain the properties. Um, my dad, the HOA down there or in Georgia, um, they're like, cut the grass, but it's like winter, so the grass is already dead, so it's not growing. And like, it's too patchy, but it's like winter, so the patch can't like grow back. And it's like, I have a funny story. I still love playing basketball. I had a basketball hoop. HOA didn't approve it,
Nah, that's
so
cap. What?
no, I swear to God,
What was the reasoning?
huh?
What reasoning did they give you?
They didn't give us a reason. They just never responded. Like we sent hella letters.
Oh, it was by letter.
We had to
Uh,
do it by letter.
I'm convinced. Like when they're bored, they just like find something that they're like mad at. It's like
Yeah,
take this
they
off, take
do.
this off, take this off.
Uh, we got like ticketed for solar panels, but it was like a small ass solar panel
You
in
guys
front of
have
my
solar
house.
panels?
Yes,
It's like that.
it wasn't even solar panels. It was just one solar panel to power up our CCTV like camera.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Just
that's genius.
yeah, but the basketball hoop thing, we would just every time they sent in a letter, we'd take it down for a month. Not even a month, like 2 weeks. We'd put it up for another 6 months because that's how usually like HOA letters come in every 6 months. Then we would take it down for 2 weeks. They're happy, put it back for 6 months, and that's how we did it. We avoided the HOA.
That's crazy. Do you know? Are you like close with your neighbors or?
I have a funny story with my neighbor.
Is it the girl one?
The girl one, yeah. The Chinese one. She's a thought.
Bro.
She's
okay. Go on with the story. Go on with the story, bro. Chill.
okay. No, that's the funny story. I later found out she's a freshman in high school. By the way, she has a whole sleeve tattoo right here. Chinese, by the way. I don't know how her parents let her. Chinese like sleeve tattoo down her arm, like on her collarbone right here. Fucking tatted up.
That's
and which part? She's a thought.
That's how I stereotype Atlanta, bro. Bro, every time Atlanta's like the place, right? Like the like, the first thing I think of Atlanta is like, especially from Dallas tells me, I think of shooting and gang wars, bro.
Bro, why would you listen to Dallas? He doesn't go outside.
So how? But you told me that your opinion of Atlanta is not very high.
Atlanta is horrible place. Oh my god, I have another funny story about Atlanta.
Okay, go on.
You know what MomoCon is?
Yeah, the anime convention.
The anime convention is in Atlanta, right? I just recently went to there, right? It was a week ago. We go down to Atlanta. We didn't have the parking spot near the convention. It was just like, fine, that's fine. We'll just walk 15 minutes, park somewhere far away. 15-minute walk to the convention, that's fine, right? As we're walking we're out of the parking lot by now. We take a left onto the main street, like Main Street sidewalk. We passed a Baptist church, and it was advertising some weird like cult like shit. And there was a bench outside the church. We see a homeless woman pass the fuck out. But she wasn't passed out like sitting on the bench. She was laying down on the bench, but she wasn't laying down. She was like angled 45 degrees on the bench. She was making like a triangle with her body with the bench. Her arm was both of her arms were hanging off the bench. Both her legs were like almost crisscross like this on the bench. We were fully convinced she was dead.
Oh.
I was fully convinced she was dead.
But you guys just walk faster?
It's Atlanta. Why would you want to provoke a homeless person in Atlanta, bro?
They're gonna like, check up on her and be like, yo, you okay?
Absolutely not. You know why we didn't ask?
What?
We thought she was dead. Like, dead ass. We thought she was dead, bro.
You didn't want to be charged with no crime, you just booked it.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't really book it. We just walked past like it was a normal thing, which it is a normal thing in Atlanta.
Really? Just like people passed out on the street?
Dead people, yeah.
Oh, like dead people, like you seen dead people, like walk when you're around Atlanta?
Yeah, dead homeless people, yeah.
Like really, like you see them a lot when you're just walking around Atlanta, like casually?
Not walking, like driving, like under bridges, you know, like in traffic.
Like you just see bodies under traffic.
Yeah, either passed the fuck out or dead.
Wow. Like that's a normal occurrence? Like no one would be surprised if you told them that?
No one.
Wow.
If you asked a person who lived near Atlanta, like, oh, have you ever seen like a homeless person passed out or dead? They're like, yeah, probably like
multiple times too.
Multiple times in their lifetime.
That's completely different from Wichita.
Wichita? I mean, I have my views of Kansas.
Do you... Actually, tell me a little bit about your views on Kansas. What do you think of Kansas?
Most boring state, most yeehaw, white, redneck state ever.
Not wrong, not wrong.
Wait, does this fuck up your quality?
No, it does not matter.
Okay. But yeah, most fucked
Do you see
state.
yourself staying in Georgia or moving out?
Yeah, I see
Like,
myself staying in Florida.
oh, like it's a definite guarantee. Like you,
Yeah.
like in the part of Georgia you're in right now, or like okay, why are you so committed to Georgia? Why not like South Carolina or like other areas?
I'm in the South. Basically, there's a lot of like racists in the South, but Georgia is just safer than the other southern states. Like
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina, first first state to leave the United States during the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Confederates. Like I'm in South Carolina right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Down the street, there's a dude with a Confederate flag. Then his neighbor is a KKK member.
How how'd you get to knowing this information?
The flag,
Oh, it's on display
yes, it was on
outside.
display. Yeah,
No, that I don't think that's legal.
yeah. Then my neighbor, you know, I'm not trying to say anything, right? I'm not trying to get political, but she had uh Trump 2024. Where I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but there's some suspicions that
Don't look
she
at me. Don't look at me like that. I have to be neutral.
that she might be a part of like some wizardry, like not the magic wizard, like the society wizard, you know what I mean? Like the rank wizard,
Where did you hear these whisperings?
Huh?
Where'd you hear these whisperings about her being a wizard?
You, like you saw my neighbor
Bro,
Confederate
bro.
flag. They're
How do you know, bro? Tell me.
all white.
That's too crazy. Bro. Actually, how is the racial diversity in like Georgia?
Like where I live or just general?
Where you live?
Oh yeah, a lot of racial diversity. Especially Mill Creek. There's
Mhm.
not like
For reference, Mill Creek is his high school.
yeah. There's not a majority of one race. Like there
Mhm.
are a lot of Asians in Mill Creek, which is good because I've never been to a school with like majority of people of color, but
Mhm.
Mill Creek is just separated like a lot, like diverse. You know,
How big is your high school? Like 3,000 people, 4,000
it used to be the biggest high school in Georgia,
in Georgia.
but
Wow.
yeah, we recently got a new high school built, and a lot of the people from Mill Creek got moved into the new high school. It's called Seconder High School, and
Mhm.
it's literally like 10 minutes away from my high school. But yeah, it's basically an overflow school. That now that I think about it,
Mhm.
yeah.
How different is like just going to a big high school compared going to a big school compared to like smaller schools? Like, what is the most key difference?
High, Big high school is very chaotic. There's all sorts of people. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there's some cringe people at my school, and
Mhm.
there are some hood rats, like hardcore drug abusing rats. They're like the valley girls, the suburban
So
kids,
like all the
suburban.
typical stereotypes, but just
Yeah,
a lot of them.
yeah.
How
Just
many officers do you guys have at your school?
that's funny because one of our officers is 80 years old.
80?
Uh, yeah,
That's crazy.
another another officer is a tall white girl, but she's like low key racist.
Just a low key, just some slight racism.
Because so we were I was staying after school because I was decorating my teacher's door. Like it was for, I think it was a Black History Month or something like that. I forgot what month this was for, but it was something about Black culture, and we had to decorate the doors around the school for the teachers, right? Um, this was after school, obviously, so the cops had to like check around the premises. She walks out by our classroom, right? She looks at the door. You know, we had like a black Jewish lady because that was our representative, like historic black figure,
Mm-hmm.
like you know,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah,
yeah. Um, she looks at the door. She gives me the most stinkiest look
bro.
ever. The most stinkiest.
And
And
that
you know
makes
what?
her low-key racist.
Yeah, she gives us the stinkiest fucking. It was like not even a side eye. It was like staring right at us. She was like that. It was a white woman, by the way, white blonde lady. It was like that, you know.
Oh, she's like, she
And
saw them and she's just
she
like
was like,
grossed out. She's like, yeah.
she was grossed out. Like my face can't even do the face she did. Like she was
Is
that.
that extreme?
Worst part, the room was filled like there was no white people in our room. It was a bunch of people of color.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she looks all around our room first, then looks at the poster, then she acts disgusted. So low key, I don't think she was just disgusted at the black lady. She was disgusted at all of us.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But how many officers do you guys have in total? Like, is it a shit ton? Because like, okay, my
Uh,
school, for example, right? We have like 2,000 students, maybe. We have 8 officers.
yeah, y'all have way more than us. We have like,
Wait, really?
yeah. I've only seen 4.
That us?
Yeah.
That's
And I've
crazy.
been there for 3 years, so I'm confident there's only 4 officers.
We have officers like patrolling the hallways and like patrolling like the perimeter of the school, just driving by, so like
Mm.
kids don't like sneak out and shit like that.
Yeah, we don't have that. We just have the school vice principal and like administrators do the hallway stuff. We
Mm-hmm.
don't have any patrolling outside school
So,
because we're not very strict on who leaves the school.
mm-hmm. Do you guys have a lot of fights at your school?
Oh yeah,
Damn,
you know,
3 police officers, 4 police officers. That's
4,000 kids at my school. There's bound to be a fight somewhere at every moment.
every moment. That's kind of crazy. That's, I mean, that's kind of like one of the big differences of I see a lot of the big high schools versus like smaller ones is that when there's like 4,000 students, it's 10 times harder to control.
Hmm.
Like,
And it's very chaotic. Not even just the fight, but the crowd.
mhm. Like I can't imagine like lunchtimes, you know, like the shit
Oh
that happens.
yeah.
Must be
I
completely
mean,
crazy.
they've came up with a solution for the lunch.
Which is, I remember you telling me this, like separate lunch times for different people, right?
Yeah, the lunch period is separated in halves, so it's not as chaotic. But you know, there's still a lot of kids
Mm-hmm.
in like at least 500, I think.
What's kind of like your most, like, okay, have you witnessed any fights at your school that you like, that happen right
Oh
in
yeah,
front of you?
they're like a fucking tourist attraction. Like, oh, there's a fight. I'm gonna go down there.
Like, you know the crazy thing I feel like about, I don't know if this is just in the US, but like, every time there's a fight, right? The first people's instinct is to whip up their phone and start recording so they can get that Snapchat, you know?
Oh yeah, I love instigating. I don't know if you can tell, but I like instigating the fight sometimes too. Like I be sitting recording. I'm like, yeah, beat his ass. Yeah, throw the hook.
Nah, that's
Yeah.
kind of, there's no way you do that.
No, I swear to God.
Bro, you be holding your phone out and being like, yo, punch him in his face, go get him.
Yeah,
Nah, that is
I'm like,
crazy.
but I'm not the only instigator. Like the whole crowd is instigating, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna join in. Tell her what to do.
Edge him on. Okay, moving past high school, right?
Yeah.
How was the college life? What college life do you see for yourself?
Fucking definitely not a frat.
More so live
De-
at home?
Huh?
More live at home?
Yeah, probably fine. Just I want to continue on my hobbies, like you know, gymming.
Mm-hmm.
uh, and photography. I really want to do photography.
Mm-hmm.
Photography has been it's turned into a big part of my life.
Do you see it like as something you do in like for money, like being like a freelance photographer and something like that?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you see yourself moving out for college at all, like at any point?
Moving out,
Mm.
like
Yeah, I guess that's really inconvenient because like you pretty much live alone in your house, right?
yeah, in I don't know about this, but I don't know about in Kansas, but in Georgia, your freshman year, you have to be on campus.
Oh, like live in the dorm.
Yeah.
I think it's like that for some colleges here, but they've like changed that recently. I think because like the
Yeah.
concept is kind of dumb because like
Yeah.
if you have a place to stay that you can drive there every day, then you might as well, and save money.
Yeah, it's stupid, but in Georgia, it's just like that. Especially UGA, like
Mm-hmm.
biggest Georgia, you need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Do you see yourself like working part time during college right away, or?
yeah, I'm just gonna work during college because I mean, I do have a full ride, but still, I have to pay for like everything else. That's
Mm.
not like the dorms, food, just going out with my friend.
Mm. Tell me more about your full ride scholarship. Is it a scholarship?
Yeah,
Is it from UGA?
it's not from UGA. It's from the state of Georgia, but basically you get qualified for it. If you have a 3.8 or above,
Mm-hmm.
I think. I think it's called the Zell Miller. Uh, I'm already in the range of it, and I've done some calculations. Uh, there's no possible way that I fall out of that range just in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm already guaranteed it. Just this one problem. In Georgia, you can't get a scholarship like a full ride one if your family exceeds like a certain salary cap.
Mm-hmm. But I think you'll be fine.
I think I can just lie.
Bro, we're on camera, bro. We're on camera. The IRS is getting your ass. But like, I get, I guarantee
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
you'll be fine.
yeah, yeah.
But you won't lie.
I think
You
so.
won't lie. You will pay all your taxes correctly.
I will.
Where's
Uh,
so like you kind of I feel like you kind of have your next 4 years figured out, right? Besides the picking your major and things like that, but you don't really need to lock into your picking a major until like, even second, third year, right?
yeah, but I mean, no one has anything figured out.
Mm-hmm.
Like shit, things change, things happen. Might set me off course, might just lead me to the course that I want, but we never know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna see. But I do have the general blueprints of what I want to do.
Yeah, which is like it's kind of unique because most people like sometimes are completely lost in your year, right? Like no idea what to do, nowhere to go. Has your option or in your head, like has your future always been a college path?
Uh, I have thought about doing trade school, which is a good option for a lot of people. Just not a good option for me, but I have thought about it.
Mm.
I've thought about going to trade school for working on cars and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I feel like, see, for me,
that's a
I'm kind of in a position where, like, trade school would make sense, but at the same time, I think the same thing goes for both of us. It's like where we can kind of afford to go to college and get the education, and then if we want to do anything afterwards, we kind of have like the free room, right?
yeah. College
Financially
just
and like just accountability wise.
yeah, college just opens up like a lot of opportunity. Like
Mm-hmm. And there's no
strengthens your.
like you don't have to like stick to it. Like you can get your degree and do something completely different.
Yeah, yeah. But it just there's just credibility, more credibility to your
Hmm.
name if you have a college degree in something
Which
like
is kind of
any.
something that is like really important in this day and age, right? Like companies, jobs, everything they want to know what like your accolades, awards, things like that.
Fucking networking,
Hmm.
network. You have
Which
to
is
do
really
a
important
lot.
for college because you're gonna be in classrooms with like people who want to do the exact same thing as you and are
Yeah,
driven the same way as you for that goal.
yeah. Which is hard to compete, but you know that's just how things go. You
Hmm.
just have to outshine everyone, but it's kind of hard to do that in a university with like how many kids are in UGA? Like fucking 20,000 almost.
Wow. So you guys have like a big ass campus, right?
Oh yeah, UGA is the big school in Georgia.
Oh, like in Georgia, period. Is it the most
Yeah.
prestigious too?
Huh?
Is it the most prestigious?
No.
There's like, is there
Uh,
an Ivy League college in Georgia? There is, right? Like the big name in Georgia? I forgot. No, South
um,
Carolina. That's a big name, right?
I think South Carolina. I think has like Clemson or something. I'm
Yeah, I
not
have no
sure.
idea what that is. He's probably
Yeah.
some important guy.
There's Georgia Tech, more prestigious.
Did you try to get into it or?
No, Georgia Tech is like, you know, all tech stuff. Uh, no business, so that was already off the table because I for sure know I want to go into business,
Hmm.
and even my second choice, which was financing,
Hmm. So you
that's off.
like just like straying away from tech, right?
Yeah,
Which is kind of
complete.
unique because most people who play games, right, they want to do something in that like something like near that, right? Like IT, um,
Hmm.
something in like computer science, things like that. What made you like stray away from those type of choices?
Um, you know, I've always seen gaming as just a hobby and something that I don't want to pursue as much as other things that I find as a hobby, like photography. Like I I actually see myself doing photography. I don't see myself doing anything related to games like
Or tech related at all?
at all. Like
Hmm.
game design,
So
you
if you
know.
could have like any job in the world, right? Money not
Yeah.
involved, you'd be a photographer.
Mm-hmm. It just sounds like the least stressful thing in the world.
Hmm.
It's not even like I'm not even thinking freelance photographer, like doing something for other people. I'm talking about like traveling and photographing.
Just the joy of viewing the world through like that lens, right?
Yeah,
And just
man.
capturing like your the moments like that.
Yeah, just capturing beautiful shit like on Instagram. And I know this is very unreliable, which is like, why I don't want to pursue it,
Hmm.
but it's just thing on the back burner. Um, I want to travel the world, take pictures, upload to Instagram, and
Just
an
live life like that, you
influencer,
know.
an influencer.
Which that's like, I find it very. It's a very good dream, right? But it's like completely opposite of what you're. What like the stereotype about what Asian parents want for you, right?
Yeah, it's like one in a million
Mm.
that you bank off of it. Like, yeah, which
Speaking
is
of speaking of dreams, what's like and challenges? What are your biggest challenges right now? Like, what's like if I told you your biggest if you had to tell me your biggest obstacle, like what are you trying to push through? What are you trying to overcome right now? Like, what is in your way right now? What is a wall that you're trying to go past?
uh mental health.
What about it?
Um, you know, just with everything that's happened in my life, it's been a very big obstacle for me since I was a kid.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm still trying to find, ways to break that barrier, but as of right now, that's the biggest obstacle in my life. But I can't let that hold me back. You know, so there's nothing really I can do about that other than just try to work my way slowly because it's a long progress, long progress.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like that's the biggest obstacle just around for just like basically for anyone really.
Mm-hmm. It's a. Are you like actively trying to improve on it and better yourself through that, or?
Yeah, I would say so. I've been doing like different type of stuff to like distractions work, but that's not bettering your mental health. That's just
Like ignoring the problem, right, and
yeah,
navigating past it.
ignoring the problem. Yeah, but I've been doing stuff to help with it,
Mm-hmm.
not just ignoring it.
Okay. Next question, right?
Yeah.
Where do you like um see yourself in 10 years? Like, what do you see for yourself, right? Do you see yourself having kids? Do you see yourself in getting married in 10 years? Like, 10 years is 27 for you, right? You're gonna be 27 in 10 years.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
Do you see
27.
yourself in a corporate job, like big, own a house, cars, like your life is gonna be set in 27 years, or do you see yourself still kind of moving around and jumping around still 10 years later?
You know, this might sound egotistical, but at 27, I see myself as pretty successful.
Mm-hmm.
Figured out, kind of settled down. Um, hopefully with a family. I always wanted a family. I always wanted to be a dad.
Mm-hmm. Early on, because I feel like most people see, I mean, in your 20s as a not really a family age, you know what I mean, to like settle down.
Yeah.
Like, would you be fine like having kids at like 27, 28, even like
Yeah.
younger than that?
I'll be fine with that because I've always wanted to be a dad. Actually, ever since I was young, I always wanted to be a dad. Like not in a bad way, but like
Mm-hmm.
you know, the thought of just like having my own family. That's nice.
Mm-hmm. Are you a nighttime or daytime person?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, um, I feel like I get more things done in at night, so I would say nighttime.
Okay. Pet peeve.
Fuck, I hate when people call me for like. Okay, this is my biggest pet peeve. Uh, I hate when people just randomly, like no context, just call me. I'm like, bro, I get so mad for no reason.
Really?
Yes.
Like, okay, what if they just hit you up to check up on you?
I mean, text me first. Like, don't call me. Like, I still like, you know.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
And second biggest pet peeve, um, footsteps. Like,
Footsteps.
like, imagine Sunday morning, right? You're on your phone, for a little bit in the morning. It's quiet outside. Then you just hear giant beating footsteps outside your door, but nothing happens. Like no one opens your door, but you just hear giant beating footsteps.
And
Like
that
I
just
hate.
that makes you pissed off.
Yes, that makes me pissed the fuck off.
That has to
I
be some
hate.
PTSD.
Yes, I hate that so fucking much. I hate it.
Okay. Least favorite food.
Least favorite food?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Or are you not really a picky eater?
I'm not a very picky eater. But my least favorite food. Oh, tomatoes for sure.
Really,
I hate tomatoes.
bro? No, on omelets? No tomatoes.
Mm-mm.
Not on salad. Nothing.
No.
Salsa, chips and salsa.
Okay, I can eat like processed tomatoes, but I can eat like straight up just biting into a tomato. I don't like
No, okay, no one does that. I meant like okay. Oh no. Okay,
like
I
just
thought you meant like biting a tomato like an apple.
No.
But just like cut tomatoes, not for you.
Cut tomatoes, like tomatoes you find on a burger where it's just like a slice of it.
Really?
Yes, I hate that. But processed tomatoes,
Chips and
it's
salsa,
alright.
that's too fire.
Chips and salsa, ketchup, I'm okay with that. I'm a very big texture guy. If I don't like the texture of something, I won't eat it.
Mm-hmm. Like you can't just like put it in your mouth and the second like it doesn't feel good, just out.
Paw. Yeah.
Just done. Bro, my
I don't
voice is dying. Okay, give me an embarrassing memory.
Embarrassing memory.
Mm-hmm. Like your most embarrassing memory. Give me your most embarrassing memory.
I'm digging in.
Dig deep.
I'm digging.
Actually, I kind of want to bring up this story now.
Yeah.
Every time I think of this story, it's so funny how Dallas showed your mom or something a picture of his.
Oh my god.
Bro, tell everyone the story. Tell everyone the story.
That's not embarrassing on me, but that might be hella embarrassing for Dallas. So, Dallas, Gabe, me and Gabe, we basically gaslit Dallas to take a picture of his dick on his iPad. And then I was like, dude, you actually took a picture. Then Game out of nowhere just snatches his iPad and shows my mom his dick pic. I'm like, for what? Why? Dude, I'm not trying to shame him, but like, it's
what is this? Why'd you do that? Bro, that's too crazy.
Okay, that's just wild. Like, I don't know how.
That's such a crazy story to hear. Like every time I hear it, it's too funny every single time.
That's not embarrassing for me. I thought it was funny. But Dallas, bro, he was probably dying.
Like, I feel like Dallas has so many embarrassing memories. But like, okay, the thing is, right, to him, like if I asked him the question, like he wouldn't think of one because like it's just not embarrassing for him. Like he doesn't remember those embarrassing moments.
Yeah, I don't know.
But do they stick to you?
Yes, they do.
Give me one.
Remember. Okay, it's not embarrassing as in anyone saw me, but it's embarrassing for myself. So I think this was like 5th grade. I was on my family computer, and this was before my parents came home.
Mm-hmm.
Previous to them coming home, I played around 8 hours of Roblox. It was Roblox Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
So I grinded the shit out of the game. But this was after school. So I played 8 hours after school.
Mm-hmm.
During school, my stomach was hurting. I needed shit so bad. But just randomly, when I went home and I got on my computer, I didn't need a shit no more. Alright? So I held it in for 8 hours, at least 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
My parents come home, and I had to open the door. I stand up, right?
Then you shit yourself.
I stand up. I walk halfway to the door. I needed a fart. I fart, right? And I sharted myself.
What did your parents say?
My parents didn't see.
No! You had to open the door for them, though.
I know. I sharted and I cut my hand out around my ass. So
What? Bro. And then? Did you open the door for him?
I opened the door for him. I ran right upstairs. Like, I booked it to the bathroom.
Did you tell them afterwards?
No. They don't know.
They don't know.
I did myself that day.
They're gonna know now. I'm sending your mom this podcast.
No, dude.
I have her Facebook. Me and her have been talking on Facebook.
Bro, my mom can't find out. So embarrassing.
Speaking of parents, how's your relationship with your parents? Are you guys like really, really close?
I mean, the fact that we don't live with each other anymore is like, you know, we're not as close as a family could be,
Mm-hmm.
but I know they're trying to make our lives better, me and my sisters. So, you
Sisters?
know,
You had two sisters?
no, I have one
Oh, okay, I'm
sister.
about to
Me,
say.
um, you know,
Shout out Tina.
yeah. So, there's obviously respect there
Mm-hmm.
and care about me. It's obvious that they care about me. So,
But
yeah,
do you feel like
I love
some
them.
part of that relationship is lacking?
Um, I've always been envious of my sister
You get to
because
like live with them, travel with them, all that, right?
that, and she never really was there when we were struggling. Like, she was born after we were
Mm-hmm.
struggling. Like, you know.
Yeah.
So I was like, dang, she had the childhood that I never had, which kind of sucked because during my childhood, I didn't get to see my parents that much because I was always a babysitter because they would be working.
Mm-hmm. And it seems
And
like even now, right? They're still on their grinds. They're still putting in that effort. Like 10, 15
like,
years later.
they're the hardest working people I know, but just, there's that part of me that always wished that they were more there. I wish I had a more, quote unquote normal childhood than other people,
Mm-hmm.
but
But they're out
I mean,
there doing their work, putting in the
yeah.
effort. And
I mean, they're
and
my
pretty soon, right? Like you guys might all be living together because they're planning to sell the nail salon.
yeah. I mean, business is booming. Like the hard work's paid off now,
Mm-hmm.
which is nice because I'm living a comfortable life now. Everyone in my family is,
Mm-hmm.
um, which is nice. That's what we always wanted. But kind of want my child back.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay. We're
I
good now.
I really relate to that personally because like with my
Yeah.
parents, right? I think one of the hardest part with dealing with it, like it's gonna sound really bad to people who are in a less fortunate situation, but it's like my parents, I feel like have worked 20, 50 times harder than me to get into a comfortable position, right?
Mhm.
And I'm kind of just like, no matter what I do, I'll be in a comfortable, like, no matter what I do, I'll be in a decently comfortable position compared to other people just because of how hard they worked, you know? Like, without my
Yeah.
efforts.
Yeah. That's why. You know. That's good that like you're comfortable now, but I just wish. I just kind of wish they were there.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously 10 times better than just being poor. Less fortunate than others. Um, that's why I don't like saying that I'm rich because I'm not rich. I didn't work for any of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't work for any of it. It was my parents. Like my parents are rich, not me. That's why I always deny people calling me rich. I'm like, yeah, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
rich, bro.
I feel the same way. It's just, it's really like, I mean, cheesy in a way to be like, yo, I'm not rich. My parents are rich, right? But it's like, it's so hard to put into like words how hard, like almost like a lot of immigrant parents work, right? Because most of the
Yeah,
times their work kind of goes unnoticed.
yeah.
People just see the success and like the first instincts like, yo, they got really lucky and things like that. But like, it's crazy to think about how hard like our parents worked, you know?
They put everything for the past however many years, like fucking 15 years. Um, just put everything, blood, sweat, and tears. And now that I mean, we have my family, right? They can retire now. Like that's how much, you know, that's how much it paid off. I don't want to give like specific numbers, but
Mm-hmm.
that's how much it's paid off. Like they can retire now, um, which is good. But they put everything. Like I just feel like a huge chunk of her life was just taken away from them.
Mm-hmm. which is something that I've talked to my parents about this, right? Because like both of our parents are still on the grind. Like they're still working, putting in like long hours, and they keep. So one thing like they tell me is like it's because they like the one thing that drives my parents personally. I don't know about yours is that they will always tell me that like they're like aligned to one goal, right? Which is their kids, me and my sister, and that's like literally the only reason why.
That's literally what my parents do. Um, we never had like a talk like that, but you know, it's very obvious that you know they work
Mm-hmm.
hard. For family. Um, especially the kids. Like you can't go in between an immigrant and their kids. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like that's the same for every immigrant family.
Mm-hmm. I think it's just like the cultural difference is kind of crazy.
You know, I mean,
Speaking, go ahead, go ahead.
I've seen like hella white kids like, yeah, fuck my mom, like fuck my dad,
No,
like I
dude,
hate.
like it pisses me off every time I hear people like. Okay, actually, I don't know if I should say this because it's kind of like
Yeah,
stereotypical and low key. Okay, no. But like, it's always like the white kids, right? That have like so much issues with like their parents and like
yeah,
this is this. I'm moving out. This is this. I'm getting kicked out. This is this. Right? And
yeah,
it's like I personally can't relate to that because my parents. I've always had like a really good relationship with my parents.
yeah,
Like it's hard to imagine like hate, you know, and my parents in like the same thought process.
yeah. Have you ever thought about like, okay, this is dark, but like, have you ever just thought about your reaction if either one of your parents died or both of them?
Yeah, I think about it a lot, and it's kind of like it's a thought
It,
that we all
it's
will have to
bad.
go through eventually,
Yeah,
right? As dark as it is, and
yeah,
I can, from my view standpoint in life right now, I can imagine it, I can picture it, right, in a logical sense. But I know like when the time comes, it's gonna be anything but logical. It's just this is the part of I think mental health that like everyone kind of ponders to of like the future, right? People passing things like that. It's just you. It's hard to put away, but it's hard to not, and it's hard to not think about it. So it's kind of like a double negative
yeah.
in that way.
Like you know it's gonna happen, right? But
Mm-hmm.
there's no of like knowing that can prepare you for that. You know,
Mm-hmm. Because we
like
all know it's gonna happen, and it's just
like how the hell do you react to your parents dying? Like no, like I don't understand how do you ever prepare for that? Like
mm-hmm.
ever? How do you respond to that? It's hard.
It's also crazy. Like, how do you not think about it if you're not good at like putting those things away? It kind of
Yeah,
it's always on your mind.
yeah.
But like, I
Talk,
think go ahead, go ahead.
talking about parents, right? What are your thoughts on deadbeat parents? Like, if your parents, or like, if one of your parents was a deadbeat, right? What if one of
Uh,
them,
define
uh,
that for me. Define deadbeat for me.
they were never there in your life? Like, they're your biological parents, but they never took care of you, left the family type stuff.
My personal thoughts on that. Well, for one, I think me personally, right? Like family, that word doesn't really mean anything to me. Like bloodline family, right?
Yeah,
That in itself doesn't mean anything to me. Like, which is like the complete opposite of my dad, who is like, if he will help out anyone, no matter how much they screw him over, just because they're biologically related to him, and things like that. But it's like, I care about my parents and my sister because of things they've done for me and that emotional attachment. But without that, right? Just because they're my biological parents, I'm, I think I'd be really good at just cutting it off and separating.
yeah.
I don't really see like the biological part of it, you know.
Because like, it's really bad for us to generalize without thinking about like the deadbeats and shit and like
Mm-hmm.
the stepdads and stuff like that. Because like, if I had a stepdad and he's shown way more than what, if he's like 10 times the man my biological dad was, like, obviously I'm going to care more about him, right?
Mm-hmm.
But some people are divided. Like, oh, he's your biological dad. You should just always be there and care for him. But then there's also that side about, yeah, he's a deadbeat. Fuck him. Don't care about him. You know. So it's very divided. It's very
Mm-hmm.
50-50.
It's just, like
I just
also
wanted to know.
for both of us, right? We can't really speak under that perspective of those people because we've never been in that situation. So all our opinions
Yeah.
should be kind of taken lightly because we have no experience, right? And never seen through their
It,
lens per se.
it's very hard to think about that situation because I don't know. I don't know firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about. I don't know anything about deadbeats.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't know the emotional trauma or physical trauma of having a deadbeat, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I mean, I think just to put it into a little bit of perspective, right? Just like think about how we were talking about our parents earlier and like their deaths and things like that. I just like imagine putting that when you're 8 or like 10 and things
hmm
like that, right?
yeah,
It's not really a direct one comparison with deadbeats, but like I think I could say you get pretty close.
yeah,
And that's like at like an early age and things like that,
yeah.
which is I don't know. It's a hard topic for sure.
Especially coming from us.
Yeah, which is like it's like the imposter syndrome in us, right? Because our work
Yeah,
is we haven't put in the work yet, which is
they've
why
just
we have this podcast. In 30 years, we'll look back at this after we made it.
I don't know if this is like an appropriate question to ask, but has your parents set you up well enough for you to go into adulthood smoothly, like
Um,
financially, emotionally, supportively?
Financially, I have no idea. Emotionally, I think the relationship between my parents is kind of already adult-like in a way.
Yeah,
Like they don't really tell me exactly what to do and control me like basically as much, right? Like
yeah,
if I'm at school or something and I just don't want to be there and I know it's not gonna affect my grades, I tell my mom, "Yo, I'm leaving school," and she says, "Okay." Like she doesn't really look into it and things like that because she
mm,
knows we kind of have this level of trust where I'm I'm already held at like such a high level of responsibility of like, yo, they know I'm not gonna do dumb shit and things like that. And
yeah,
but I think more so that people don't really think about this for like parents setting them up is like forget emotional, forget like financial. It's like your mindset, how should you should think about the world, right? Because as a kid, you don't really have to do any of that because your parents kind of like think
yeah,
for you, make decisions for you.
yeah.
What about
For
you?
me, oh, are you gonna say more?
No, like what about you?
Yeah. For me, my parents have basically confirmed. Yeah, they've already got me set up financially.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like one in a million, like blessing. Like, you know, I'm blessed to have that.
Mm-hmm.
Just like barely anyone has that going for them. Like parents setting you up financially to adulthood, like after college, basically. You know,
Mm-hmm.
good thing. Emotionally, um, yeah, it's kind of like how you are with your parents. Like they trust me. I'm living by myself right now,
Mm-hmm.
so they trust me enough to live by myself. So I've gotten a small taste of like what it feels like to be, out there in the world. Um, and yeah, I basically agree with what you said, and like basically everything that you and your parents do is basically what my parents do. So, my parents are more set on me going to college and me actually going to school. Like they don't want me to skip school.
Mm-hmm.
But they know I won't do dumb shit. It's just that how they see it is that they fought so hard to even come here and to even put me in the position of being in the suburbs and like all that, living by myself, they want me to at least do that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like school all day, which is like fine. I mean, what do I have to complain about that, right?
Mm.
So, I just wanted your thoughts on that.
I think it's more like, even if I hate college and I did not see a future in it, right? If my parents
Hmm.
can work as hard as they did, and me not like saying yes to like them just like tell me like to do this, go to secondary education, college, right? Like
Yeah,
it's just, I feel like it's kind of like I need to, right? It's not even like I feel bad that I have to go. It's just like,
you need like you
yeah.
have the obligation to.
And it's not like a bad obligation. It's just like I'm happy to do that for them, right?
Yeah,
Because there's not much you can do, like especially us in our position, to help them as much. They've kind of already sacrificed so much of their lives, right? Their 20s, 30s, even 40s for some people.
yeah,
Speaking of which, my parents are in their 40s now, which is crazy.
yeah. My mom just recently turned into like her 40s
Wait,
too.
same. My mom turned 40 this year, I think.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy. Time goes by fast.
Our parents had us young, like
Yeah, you were born. So I know it's hard to admit, but you were born in Vietnam too.
I
Same with
was
me.
there for 1 year, I think.
Hmm.
Like not even a year.
But it's
I was
crazy
probably
that you didn't go back to visit, right? That's from what I heard.
no, I went back and visit when I was 8.
Yeah, but not like recent. Actually, I think I went back when I was like 10. I've been back like 3 times, which is like kind of crazy.
3, damn, I only went there once. Graduation after graduation, my parents are planning on going there.
Yeah, I'm also going like next year for summer.
Yeah, next
Yeah,
year summer, yeah.
yeah. I'll also be. Wait, we'll be there
Yeah,
together.
dude,
Are you
shit.
Are you in Hanoi?
Except, hey, are you flying from Kansas to straight to Vietnam,
I
or are
think
you going on a
it's.
road trip?
I think it's I think the best. I think it's California, and then one way to
No way.
something like that.
Wait,
Have you been on a
my
12-hour flight? Or like 24-hour flight?
no fucking way.
What?
Because my parents are going to California too. We're
Wait,
gonna
really?
on a really long road trip to California across the
Okay,
country.
okay. Out driving to California is like, it's bad from Kansas. I can't imagine it from Georgia.
No, the thing is, that's gonna be like a 2 week process because we're gonna stay in like different cities and
Oh,
like
you'd
the
like travel
suburbs.
a little bit.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's not a road trip. It's more of like just a trip,
Yeah.
just
Who knows? Maybe the
across the.
next time we see each other, it's gonna be in a different country.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I told my dad. He said, "Don't worry, I got you into all the clubs."
That's crazy. Yeah, my dad apparently has hella connections to the police.
The police? Your dad?
Yeah,
Bro,
yeah,
what? No, no, it's been 10 years. What connection? What police, bro?
dude. I don't know. He's had
Communist ass
connections.
police. Please don't kill me.
I mean, my grandpa was in the. He was low key a Viet Cong, I think, but
Yo, my grandpa was not low key. He was high key. North, north. Wait, you're from the south, though, right?
no, I'm from
Oh, mid. I'm so
middle,
like
but
neutral.
more of north.
Hmm.
My mom was from the country, but it was more of like middle.
Hmm. My parents are
Like,
kind of unique because my mom's from the north and my dad's from like hard south, right?
yeah,
And my mom's hard north. And for what I've been told, the story is that my dad first hit on my mom's cousin and then hit on her, and that's how they met.
that's crazy.
It was like my grandma just told me this story like recently. It's so crazy.
Mm,
It's crazy how different like relationships were back then.
yeah.
Just jump
I
around.
mean,
Okay, last question before I end it off. Okay,
okay,
are you ready?
yeah.
Like reflecting on your life, just like between the years, past years, right? What are some of the most profound lessons that you've learned about yourself and the world around you, and how have these lessons like shaped your perspective on life?
Dude, fuck. Okay. Um, I recently figured this lesson recently. Don't care what other people think. Don't live based on what people think of you and what you want people to think of you. Just be yourself. Like, just be yourself. Be the real you. Like, snake your way through. Find the real ones that will stick with you, even if you are like a little weird, like a little corny sometimes. But that's just how you find your real ass friends. Don't don't be fake, and you won't be around fakes.
Mm-hmm. What kind
So
of sparked you to come to that realization?
um, COVID really. Uh, Me before COVID was wild, bro. I was like fucking hella racist.
Mm-hmm. I can
Uh,
relate.
yeah, hella racist.
It's crazy,
But
like how like we lived through like COVID
yeah,
in our lifetimes, and that's like the shit we're gonna tell people.
yeah. Um, then I cut off a lot of people. Like I said, just I cut off a lot of people, and I started reflecting on myself as a person, like morally. Um, just I sat down, kind of just questioned myself why I did everything I did, and I did it because I wanted to be accepted by people who were like higher status than me, sorta.
Mm-hmm.
So there was always that. But yeah, I stopped giving a fuck
Mm-hmm.
about what people think. So I think that's the biggest lesson, in my opinion. Don't care what people think.
Mm-hmm. I see it. I see it.
Yeah. What
It's
about
like
you?
um. I know I asked the question, but it's a fucking deep question, bro.
Yeah.
I think for me, I'm still like I think just realizing that it's okay to take time to really be perfect, right? Because like there's this concept of like there's this societal standard of yourself, right? Of like how you should act, things like that. And I think it's important to realize that like you have so much time to adapt and change yourself to better yourself, and it's not really like a huge rush,
Yeah.
which is obviously easier said than done. Like all of these profound lessons, but
Yeah.
it's important to realize that like you'll get to your goals. Just the time. Lessen your value on how much time it's going to take you to get where you want to go.
Yeah.
Just one step at a time.
But do you ever think about like the opposite side? Like there's no tomorrow, like you're not guaranteed a tomorrow. Have you ever thought about the other side?
Mm, but it's so like it's so illogical that my brain just like it doesn't let me think that way.
Mm.
Like it doesn't let me think of doing things in a way that there's no tomorrow.
Just live life. See,
Just as you
take
would
you.
as you would today, the same as you would tomorrow. Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I think the most important thing, just live, right? Like just progress in some way.
Just find yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's the journey.
The journey.
I've always um I've always had a problem with just being focused on one thing. Like and just finding I would lose interest a lot in a lot of things.
I mean,
Like
I feel like it's the same for everyone, right? Like, how hard is
yeah.
it? Well, actually, like except for the key people who can find that one thing and just lock in. Like you know those kids in your school, right? That like they know exactly what they're doing when they're getting out. They know that's what they're doing for the rest of their life, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what wild people can do that. But you know, I have the blueprints, but shit, I don't know what my mind's gonna say in about like 10 years,
Mm.
maybe.
Which is why we
Like,
have this podcast. I'm gonna rewatch this in 10, 5 years. It's gonna be everything's gonna be
yeah,
so different.
League of Legends, dude. I had so much potential. Potential.
Yeah.
I
Actually,
played like 20 games a season.
yeah.
I never played, but I was still better than Dallas, and I always will be.
I think
No dead.
speaking on your thing of like not focusing on too many things or like not focusing on one thing, I think something
Yeah.
important that a lot of people don't realize is that the one thing you should be focusing on is like keying in on is your foundations, right? Because that'll help you go into like every single other area. For me, that's
Yeah.
like how I think about things, like letting go of like biases, thinking like more open minded and
Yeah.
not one directional.
Yeah. That's also like a main reason why networking is very important too. Like, not not like societal, but like more business related. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have a like network or like connections with other people, you're not gonna make it. Obviously.
Mm-hmm. Like
So
you literally need like connections to progress in the business world.
you don't, but it's like
Well, it's like
legit.
to like to upscale your businesses, you need them, like some
Like
sort of connection.
connections make it 10 times, 10,000 times easier.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable amount.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing
But
with like life though, right? Because like, yo, this I could call up my local plumbing, whatever, and they could do it for like $300, or I can call my friends and they could do it for like $50. You know,
yeah.
it's like these things will build up and build up and build up, and it's always important.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, I think it's time to end it off. I think we had like a really good conversation actually.
Yeah, dude. That shit was real as fuck.
Did it go by fast for you?
What time is it?
It's
Wait,
two
let me
hours
check
later,
it.
bro.
Damn, it's been 2 hours.
It goes by fast now.
Yeah, we started out like what, 11?
Mine with Dallas just like boom. I started and I finished like before I even realized. Okay,
I mean, what do you talk about to Dallas? Like how, like
you didn't watch the episode?
not all of it.
You gotta finish it.
No, but like, how do you keep a conversation with Dallas?
The same way I kept a conversation with you. I'm gonna be honest. I wrote down notes and questions. I only used like a
Yeah.
quarter of them. It's just you kind of like feel in the flow. The only time I was out of the flow was that one question. You remember?
The boat thing.
I
Or
oh no, with Dallas? No. I was never out of the flow with Dallas. I was in the flow with Dallas always. I mean with you like earlier.
Mhm.
I like lost like and then I just like okay forget it and move on.
Yeah,
I think the hardest part is like maintaining a steady flow because you never want like blank silences, right? Where we just stare at each other.
yeah.
It's kind of like the hardest part.
The thing is, we were talking about real shit, unlike the fucking boat or plane question you asked Dallas.
It can be hard to get real with Dallas,
Yeah,
but I think we had like a pretty good podcast. One to look
Yeah.
back on for sure, you know.
it's hard to maintain real as fuck questions back to back.
Yeah, but we went back to back to back to back.
Yeah, I mean, shit. We went to family, to mental health, to business, to future, to
You
life
told your life
goals.
story almost.
Yeah,
Getting in here.
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna give like an outro. So I want to first off, I want to thank you, Sonny, for being on the podcast and sharing your insights and aspirations with me and whoever's gonna watch this for today. It's like it's truly been like a really enjoyable conversation, and I enjoyed a lot of it.
And shit, this isn't even our longest conversation ever.
hmm It's just like, which is what sparks me to start doing these in general, right? Because I kind of want to be able to look back at this and like maybe show a future kid, family member, right? Yo, this is like
Dude.
the shit I was thinking about in 2023. You know?
Dude, fuck. We've been talking about this for a while too. Ever since
Mhm.
our Fortnite days.
Yeah, it's
You're right.
been It's been crazy. It's been a long ride, bro.
We've
Like
been
7 years.
because we always have real ass conversations. So you always be like, dude, imagine we have a like podcast or something. And now it's actually like,
It's happening.
do you want like this to actually like take you somewhere? This podcasting stuff. You're just doing this as a diary almost.
I think I'm doing this more as like a diary, like a chronicle of just.
Yeah.
But it's also like it's fun to do these. It's fun to record a conversation and upload it and like have it for the future. You know what I mean?
I mean, shit, because like podcasting is a real hobby. Like my
I just think
my
it sounds 10 times harder in person because you like I look at my notes, I look at this, I look at that. You know.
I mean, my photography stemmed from nothing. It was just a random fucking thing I thought of. Like, you know, this is cool. I'm gonna do it. And now look where it led me. I've probably taken about like 1,000 pictures already, and it's only been a few months. So you know,
Just, you don't notice. You don't notice like with this. I don't notice that I'm talking for 2 hours. It's just like, and you probably don't notice like how much time you take to like take pictures, right?
Yeah,
It just
like
boom, clicks, flies in.
it's just nice. Like it's just a nice pastime to do. So just think about it, bro. Just like, I mean, you obviously enjoy yourself doing it. Like you couldn't tell that 2 hours fucking passed by.
But
So
I think if it gets like some traction, I would think about it. But it's not. I'm not passionate about it enough to like go all out. You know.
Yeah.
But it is nice, and it's gonna be nice in the future. I can't wait for when we have an in-person one. That's gonna be nice.
There's always the diary shit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
At least you'll get that if
I'm gonna finalize the outro.
Okay.
So thank you once again for joining me on Tino Talk. I wish you the best in your business and entrepreneur journey and your future decisions and endeavors. And to anyone listening, yo, hit me up. I need more guests, okay? This shit, I can't be interviewing my cousin only, okay? I need more people. Hit me up, please.
Your other cousin is next.